Welcome to DADvocate, willing and working for each other's good. I'm Greg Walton.
And I'm Jessie. I'm the oldest of Greg's kids.
And we celebrate living as one human family in all our differences. Jessie and I have different spiritual paths. I'm Catholic.
And I'm Pagan.
So the views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities that we represent. Today, we are going to just talk about our show, working for each other's good and living as one human family.
Who we are, why we're doing this.
Exactly.
Why you should listen.
Why you should listen. Yeah. So, Jess, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I mentioned Greg is my dad. I am non-binary. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a millennial. I am a former Catholic. I grew up in the church and then split off on my own spiritual path, which now has led to paganism, more specifically atheo-pagan.
And we'll get into what that means.
Yeah, a little later. I am part of the LGBTQ plus community. I'm not only non-binary, but I am also gay, queer, lesbian, all those fun words. And I wanted to do this podcast with my dad because we find ourselves in really similar paths of outreach and allyship, just approaching from different sides. But, you know, this is where we meet in the middle, and we realize we're kind of a unique pairing. We wanted to get the two sides of our audiences together and explore our common interests. One big human family.
Yeah, that's so good. And really, I think you and your siblings put me on the path, and it's why I chose the title of the show to be DADvocate, because you're not the only LGBTQ sibling
person in
our
the family,
right?
Yeah.
Person in our family. We have, there's 5 kiddos, and 3 of you are trans, and the others are somewhere,
figuring it out.
And that put me in touch with the lived experience of the LGBTQ community. And so it's just been beautiful. And this is not a religious, I don't know if I said this yet, actually.
Religion will be discussed because obviously we hold our own convictions and beliefs. But it's more about finding the common ground than trying to sway anybody's opinion one way or the other. Yeah, exactly. And so it's not a religious-based program, but we will crack into spirituality and things like that as it relates to working for each other's good. Yeah. I'm excited to bring the work that you've been doing, because I am so proud of the progress you've made, to my friends, and to sort of open the door to a lot of people who have been hurt by the church and are wary whenever someone introduces themselves as an ally and a Christian, or even as gay and a Christian. And I really want to hold space for those things to coexist, and for pagans and atheists to feel safe again around those people, so we can kind of cross the aisle, because we're volunteering at Pride together. You never know whose booth you're going to be next to, and we could do a lot of good work together.
Yeah, right. Yes, I agree. And so for folks who may not know that backstory of the advocacy that you're talking about that I do, being queer adjacent also put me through a lot of scrutiny in my own faith circle, and your mom as well. Yeah. And so what we realized was there was a need to create an emotionally safe space, not just for the LGBTQ community in my Catholic circle, but also for parents who actually were really sad that their kids disaffiliated because they had a negative experience in the church, and loved their kids fiercely. And so what I did is I started I co-founded a ministry called Always God's Children in Nashville, and we provide an emotionally safe space for LGBTQ people and those that love them to pray, be real, and belong. That's our mission. And and we'll get into a little bit more of some of the shenanigans we've gotten into with that in a bit.
And to take something you said and spin it back into my own personal story, like, it was a hard decision to leave the church. I stopped identifying as Catholic when I was about 18. And at that point, I was, pretty freshly confirmed. I had just sponsored someone else in their confirmation. I was really into it. I was a lector. I was in the choir. It was my world. And part of the decision to leave was grappling with my own identity, my own sexuality. But I was actually the second kid in our family to come out. My younger sister beat me to it.
Yeah, Evie. And that was I think she was in 7th grade.
Yeah, we kind of always knew. It was a little harder to ignore with Evelyn. She was always unapologetically herself.
Yes. Yeah.
And I really admired that. And, so the thought was planted early of, how can a loving God and a loving community say that this is wrong when this is just who she is?
And it was something that we saw that was consistent, persistent, insistent from early childhood.
Birth,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Folks would say, well, you must not have prayed enough, or you must not have had enough faith, blah, 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 blah. Well, no, we were we went all over the country. We spent.
Church was our world.
It was, we were on.
Traveling for Dad's music and ministry.
Yeah. And so, really unique formational experiences. So it wasn't a slouching spirituality on our part.
I left when I was the most involved with the church, which is very interesting to me. Maybe part of me burnt out, but I think sermons were starting to turn in a direction where I felt it no longer aligned with Christ's teachings, and more importantly, no longer aligned with my heart and my values. Mm-hmm. So I had to step away. It hurt.
Yeah. Your story is a very common human experience.
Yes.
It's the number one thing of disaffiliation in the Catholic Church, according to studies that have been done.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to ask you, how does, working for others' good come to play for you?
Well, in recent years, I have gotten more involved with local advocacy. I've volunteered in the past with an organization called Trans Family Support Services, where we really focused in on kind of early intervention, early support for trans and questioning kiddos. We just gave them a safe place to talk with their peers that was supervised by an adult. We don't give advice. We didn't, sway them in any direction. We just let them be themselves, connected them to other kids like them, provided support to the parents. Like, my kid wants to try binding. Is that safe? Where do I even buy this stuff? And that felt really good. I started to feel that sense of community that I, missed from having, weekly mass or youth group. And I started volunteering at Pride events, doing a lot of tabling. I'm no longer with TFSS, but now I sometimes work with Rainbow Trouble and the Shenanigans Comedy Theater. And that's here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Right. Yeah. So, both of us are in pretty religiously conservative spaces.
Right.
Nashville, Tennessee, and you're down there in Huntsville.
Rocket City.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a nice community down there, though.
Yeah. We have a surprising number of queer folks down here, and maybe I live in a bit of a bubble because all of my friends, you know, share common interests with me. So I know all of the gay people, but it really feels like we're a larger percentage of the population here than on a national scale, which is pretty cool. And we always have community events going on. It's
Yeah.
really good to see.
Let's talk about some of the upcoming guests that are going to be on the show. We have Stacy Powell and Kristen Baker, who are part
Yes, from
of
Tello Films.
Tello Films, and that is a streaming service that's been going like
Yes.
18 years, almost as long as Netflix. Basically, it's like the lesbian Hallmark channel.
More or less, yeah. And Stacey and Kristen personally run Let's Go, the Let's Go travel show. It's really cute and you should tune in. And they have a new Christmas movie coming out.
The Christmas Writer. Mm-hmm.
Tello's really easy to navigate. It's similar to YouTube. I couldn't believe I'd never watched it before. Dad actually had to tell me about it.
Right. Yeah, and so Kristen and Stacy are part of Always God's Children, and they actually met through our group or through the common interest in our group. They'd both been going, but on separate meetings, and they finally bumped into each other somewhere. And I'll let them tell the story. And then we also had Terry Gonda and Kirsty Reeve, who work with the Wild Goose Festival and are a Catholic couple. And so the reason that we have these interviews is because we were all on a pilgrimage together to Rome.
Yes, I had the privilege of meeting them on our pilgrimage with nativity tours. We went all over Italy.
Yeah, we did. So what was it like for you, my pagan kiddo?
On a bus full of Catholics.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't all Catholics. I believe we had some Episcopalians, but it was a very faith-based trip. We saw a lot of churches. And it was also my first time attending Mass in quite a while. Shout out Father Dexter.
Yeah.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I'm forever grateful. I'm still processing because it was just nonstop. We saw so many things. I told myself from a historical standpoint, you know, as an autistic and a former archaeology major, I can't pass this up. And when we got there, I kind of was confronted with a lot of my religious trauma. It was sometimes hard being back in those spaces, and the way our tour guides would tell the history of a building and, you know, all the stories of the saints and the mythology of it all. I mean, well, to members of the church, it's history, but to me, it's more mythology, not to offend anyone, but I did have to kind of separate myself because it was like, okay, well, I don't necessarily believe that part, but here I am with the group. I think a lot of people assumed like, oh yeah, you're with the Catholic group, you must be Catholic, and I was like, do I tell them?
Right.
But also attending Mass was really nice, and I did choose to participate in the Eucharist while we were there.
Well, you're baptized. You got the card.
I am baptized. I'm confirmed. Yeah. According to church beliefs, I'm a lifetime card-carrying member. For me personally, it was a little conflicting, but I participate in ritual in my own practice, and what is Eucharist but another ritual? And I felt it was important that all of us on the trip together were in communion spiritually and physically. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And what I love about just talking about communion, all of us together, is that that's what the show is about. That, you know, DADvocate, is willing and working for each other's good and celebrating that we're one human family in all our differences. And so we got a lot that's going to be coming up together. So thanks for listening to our little intro here.
Yeah. Tune in next time.
That's right. DADvocate is produced by the two of us.
Our theme song is written by Dad.
And produced by Britt Edwards with tasty guitar licks by Delano Nova Scott. Thanks for listening, and let somebody in your life know you love them.
Love you.
I love you.